We all talk about sisterhood and how we engage in positive behaviors. But sisters, we know that's not always true. There's an ugly side of sisterhood, and there's plenty of research to support what aggressive behavior in women looks like. Spreading false rumors, gossiping, excluding others from a social group, making insinuation without direct accusation, criticizing others' appearance or personality. The women who hate me cut me as men can't. Hey everyone, this is Dr. Michelle, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Tab Talks. And I am so excited to have my frequent flyer guest, Dr. Urita Taylor. How you doing, Dr. Taylor?
I am doing great, freaking fire friend. Okay. Can I use that sometime?
I
Thank
think you
you
can
so much
use
for
that.
having me. Thank you.
Hey, well, you
Thank
know
you. It's an
what?
honor
We
to be
always
here.
have fun when you're on the show. So,
Oh,
I'm so
good.
glad that you're back with us because, we got a topic today. We're going to be talking about Steppingstones. We're talking about sisters, the betrayal of sisterhood. So you're here today to help me unpack this because this is going to be a pretty interesting topic because we always want to say sisters are not aggressive. And I want to go over something with you. One of my first questions, because, I always got questions. I found a book and it's called Inhumanity to Women. And the author is sharing some research studies about the indirect aggressiveness of women. And specifically, she details that while men may outright fight and be directly aggressive, women are more insidious about our aggression. So our attacks are more verbally manipulative, but just as damaging. Why do you feel women are more vicious to other women?
Oh my gosh, what a question. But I could take it from two standpoints. First of all, the wife standpoint. Now, the wife had invested all that time and money and every energy in her relationship. Of course, she's going to want to attack the other woman. That's her territory she's trying to protect. So how dare you, after I don't help this man to med school or college, whatever he went to college for, here comes another woman trying to be on my turf. No, she is very territorial because she wants to protect her investment. And so what she would do is, now we have social media. She might go on social media. She might be blasting the woman, calling her all kind of names, the B word and all that stuff, because then now this woman is posing a threat to her to disrupt her family, and especially if there's children involved, and she might be a stay-at-home wife. So now it's like, oh, am I going to lose that status there to another woman? So then she wants to fight for her marriage as she should. So she's using these words to attack these women as best as she can. And it gets even worse if it's somebody that she knows and they have mutual friends. So
Yes.
It's like, oh, you want to know what Sharon did? She's trying to tell my thumb and she's F and she's B and she's all that. And like I said, she's just trying to protect her territory. And on the other hand, now where's the other woman? The other woman might say, oh, the wife, she has a brand new car. She's going on vacations. She has a handsome husband. I want what she has. She have no idea what the wife has to do to keep that, to not keep living that lifestyle, what role she has to play at home, what is going on in the home. She just looked from the outside and she was like, okay, I want some of that. She can't have cake and ice cream. No, I want some of that cake and ice cream. And so she would start to badmouth the wife, and even telling the man, make up stories, because I've heard this in real life. The outside woman make up stories on the wife, or the wife says she's going to do me this, just starting the gossip trend to make the wife look bad in the husband's eye, all because she wants what the wife has, including the man. And that's something that they do.
Well, it's interesting you say that when this other woman sees what the wife has. You're right. You don't know what she's going through to keep that. For all you know, he could have her chained up in the basement and just let her come out.
Let her come out when guests come over,
Okay. I got some more stats for you here. Let's see. Okay, my next question. Okay, African Americans, we make up about 14% of the population. Yet we're representing now 44% of the new HIV cases. And one of the reasons cited for this high transmission rate of HIV is the practice of concurrent relationships. So meaning basically men are sleeping with numerous women, women are sleeping with numerous men. Why do we think, first of all, that's safe when we know that there are communicable diseases out there? And why do we disrespect these boundaries of other women, even though you've told them, even though you say they know?
Okay, it's like this. When you have low self-esteem, and I'm going to start right there because most of the times that's what it is. When you know a man is married or he's with someone else and you still want to get involved, most of the times it's a low self-esteem or just lack of self-esteem. So when you have low esteem and you have a man coming after you, you know he's married and he's coming and he's telling you all this stuff. He's making promises. He's like, I'm not with her, or I don't want to be with her. You know, you're who I want to be with. Your self-esteem starts to rise up a little bit, you know, and especially if he's consistently coming after you, you start thinking, oh, something really must be missing in this household. He's coming after me. Now, the logical thing is to think, well, if he wants to be with me, why doesn't he leave that situation? But because your self-esteem is where it is, you're just getting all hyped up. Oh, he makes me feel good. Next thing you know, you're starting to wear makeup, you're wearing some earrings, you're getting your hair done, getting your nails done, because guess what? He is speaking into your spirit. He's speaking into your soul. He's touching your heart with his words. And then you start to feel good about yourself. So as you feel good about yourself, you're trying to portray to the world, you know, you're just this happy individual, not looking at the logistics that it's another woman's man you're messing with. So that low self-esteem is being worked on. And over time, you start to believe everything that he says, and that other woman there is like non-existence. Though the reality is she's existing, but in your world, it's not. Then there's a jealousy factor of it. We just want, sometimes we as humans, we just want what we don't have. I see you driving a brand new car, even though I can't afford it. I want it. I'm going to do whatever I can to get it. And if your man approach me, knowing that he bought your car, I'm going to see if he can buy me a car too. And maybe the red to match your blue. So we both driving the same Honda Accord. You have the red and I have the blue. So whatever it is that you have, I'm going to make sure I get it too, because that jealousy kicks in. And then sometimes we have no self-respect. We don't respect ourselves enough to say, you know what, you're in a marriage, you're in a committed relationship, you're living with someone, I don't want to be with you. I respect myself enough to say no and keep it no. If you want to be with me, you fix your situation, but you never tell a madman to leave his wife.
Well, you know, it's interesting because we talk about this concurrent relationship or man sharing. And whether you're the side chick or you're the main chick, there becomes this time when there's the competition. And I know when I was doing the research, it was saying that women in Cambodia, when they catch their husbands in an inappropriate relationship, they'll throw acid on the other women.
Yeah.
When they're not looking at the betrayal, it's actually from the spouse. It's the other woman that gets the acid thrown on her. I mean, this is just
and they don't never go to the man and ask the man anything. He get away scot-free, and the woman, they will attack each other. You find them cursing each other. They're using social media as their playground, their battleground to fight each other and curse each other out, while the wife, she's trying her best to keep what she has for security, keeping her family intact. Then now here comes this woman, and she's not only sleeping with her husband, but now in her eyes, she might lose everything. So she's gonna fight. So the girlfriend might wake up and find her house on fire, or, you know, her car scratching and everything, all because in her mind, she's losing what she worked so hard for. Now, is the other woman totally blameless? I mean, she's not totally blameless, because then there's the man who's at fault. But we don't never go after the man. We go after the woman, and we just fight each other. And we say the worst things to each other, calling each other's name. Sometimes you have to wonder, oh my gosh, you kiss your mom with that mouth, all those words come out of it. But it's just because we're trying to safeguard what we work so hard for. And the other woman is saying, I deserve to have that. Because in their mind, they're telling themselves, I deserve what you have. And they're not looking at it logically, that it's not theirs to begin with. And so that jealousy kicking, and jealousy, I'm telling you, is a really, really dangerous thread to walk on. It makes you do things that you didn't even think you could possibly do.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I used to always say, if ever you see a cat fight, you better believe there's a dog somewhere around. Okay?
Okay, can I use that one?
You can use that one. There's always a dog around.
And in this case, I'm not even gonna ask who's the dog, who's the cat.
Okay,
But they would
we
know.
gonna talk.
And then you have the woman that know about the other woman, and they don't do anything because they just want to safeguard what they have. And as long as their bills get paid, they really don't care what he does.
That's
So
I
you
got
have
that
that.
MasterCard Black.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care
It's
what you
like
do.
as long as I could go shopping.
Wow. Okay. We're going to talk. You touched on social media. So I do want to talk about that because I think, you know, we all, you know, are on the internet and we see a lot of these stories. And I want to pay a particular story that Khloe Kardashian, and she's been featured with her baby's daddy. And I guess now he's a baby daddy. He's got 2 other children now. So he's a baby daddy of 3, all in about 5 years. And it appears that at least the last 2 baby mamas knew he was in a relationship. Okay. So why do you think women fail to honor other women by not engaging that? Okay, he has a pregnant girlfriend. You are dating him. You now get pregnant and you want to be all over the news talking about he got somebody else pregnant. I think you just getting what you got. I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, when I think about that, I'm like, okay, there's different angles to that. Okay. And one of the angle being a financial aspect. Now imagine you grow up in a home where you're poor, you know, barely make ends meet, the electricity is going off, water going off, you know, you're not able to make it. Even when you go out on your own, you're still struggling. Here comes a man with money, and he is saying, honey, all you have to do is meet me one night a week, one night a month, and I take care of all your bills. What do you think you're gonna do? At first, you might say, well, no, I can't do that. You're with somebody, you just had 2 babies, I can't do that. But when you go home and the power is not on, you're gonna be like, okay, let me give him a phone call. I could just do this one time and he pay all my bills and I'm good. But then the one time come into 2 times, 3 times, because guess what? When you're in a position where you don't have and you get the opportunity to change that, logic sometimes goes out the door, especially when you're hungry. When you're hungry and you get the chance to have a buffet in front of you, it's like life, it's like air coming into you. So you're not thinking, well, he already have all those babies, I just want to not be struggling anymore. And I think that that's an important part of what it plays when men step out of their marriages, they step out of relationships and they get these women. It's not always a factor of love. Sometimes it's just they promise and sometimes they do fulfill that financial need that the woman may have. Now another aspect of it is it could be things that he said, because I can just imagine, you know, he's saying, oh, I just went with her one time and she got pregnant. She don't mean nothing to me. I don't even love her. I don't even know her name. You know, men can say the things that they say, I'm telling you, and they are so convincing at times. You know, they'll be like, she doesn't
She's
mean
crazy. Yeah, we're
anything to
always
me. I
crazy,
don't
right?
love her. The condom broke or whatever situation. They are trying their best to convince you that you're the one. That person over there is just carrying your child, just had your baby, but they don't mean anything to you. You're the one. You're who I want to be with. You're the one who wants to support my dreams. She doesn't do that. So now you're thinking, oh my goodness, that could possibly happen. Maybe they don't mean anything to each other. And then you know what? You start to buy into that idea that you're the one, because we women, we're emotional beings. And when we hear these words, these sweet talking words coming to us, it touches us. And then guess what? We start to believe. And then the butterflies, because now we're falling in love and he's saying all these nice things, you know, and it sounds really good. So it could be, you know, the things that he said to her that will cause her to go with him, even though he have children with other women. The last thing on that is the self-esteem. Back to the self-esteem thing. If you don't think highly about yourself, if you don't think that you're valuable enough to wait for someone who is solely yours, you can make those decisions where you're sleeping with someone else's husband. So we have to try to build our self-esteem to get to that point where we can say, we're better than that. I want someone for myself rather than be with someone who's having a child here, a child there, a child everywhere. And then what happens when you get pregnant? Then he moves on to somebody else. So it boils down to you thinking very highly of yourself and you say, I want more. I value more. So you have to start to pull that into yourself. Even if you didn't grow up hearing it, you have to somehow get to the point where you say, I deserve more. I deserve a man of my own. That's what you have to tell yourself. So you're not sleeping with every woman's man going forward.
And I think you're right, because there are more options to be able to be successful in this world than through a man. I mean, I
Yes.
think that's the thing that we forget sometimes. If you want that car, figure out a way to get that car.
Get it yourself.
You know,
yeah.
it may take you a year or two to get it. It may take you 4 years to get it, but then the keys are yours. You don't have
Yep.
a situation, and we saw some situations recently. A gentleman breaks up with a woman, he kicks her out the house. So, you know, because they weren't your keys, it wasn't your house. So again, you know, we forget the option is always you can do it on your own. That was never taken off the table. And women, we need to start paying attention to when we want things, you know, how we get those things. And right now, I'm telling you, brothers are basically low hanging fruit. All I got to do is buy her a bundle of hair. You know, we got to do better than that. Okay.
And sometimes by ourselves, we can even get it faster because then you can even work more. You don't have to leave time out for a relationship. So rather than work 8 hours, you can work an extra 2 hours because you don't have not in a relationship. You work those extra hours, get the overtime, you get your car, whatever it is faster.
That's it.
You look at
Thank
it that
you.
way, yeah. You can do it by yourself.
Okay, let's unpack it now. I was according to a white paper that was published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, women use gossip as a weapon and as a mean of gaining strategic advantage when competing for a man. And the intent is to smear their reputation, but giving damaging information about that person that they perceive as a threat. And there's considerable research concerning women's propensity to defame, destroy, which suggests the term mean girls. That's really real. So it appears there's a misnomer about women's use of aggression because this is a form of aggression. What are your thoughts about women weaponizing language to hurt other women?
Oh my gosh. Imagine this for a minute. You're married and you've been married 20 years, okay? And then all of a sudden, there's this fresh chick on the block trying to, mess up your turf. Not only that, but she might have already been with your husband. Imagine the hurt you're going through. You need to lash out. You need to hurt somebody because you're hurting. What you once thought was secure. Here you thought, you know what? I'm the queen. Then you wake up and you find out, oh, there's another woman beside myself. The first thing you want to do is you want to sort this woman out because we women, we want to know, is she prettier than us? Is she younger? Does she look better? And we want to know everything about her because we're planning our attack. We're planning the attack. And look, if she is 2 pounds, I say 2 pounds heavier than us, then we start to call her fat cow because the idea is to degrade her down to that level because of the hurt that we feel. When we get with someone, we women, and not to say that men don't, because men have emotions as well.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong on that. But when we women, we dedicate our life to a match, and I can only speak for a woman's standpoint because I'm a woman all day long. When we dedicate ourselves to our relationship, our marriages, to our family, we're raising our children, taking care of our husband, our home. We do not want to know that there's another woman trying to mess up what we have. It might not be the happiest marriage in the book. There might be ups and downs every day. Sometimes you look at your husband, you might not like him, but still he's your husband. So you don't want another woman trying to come and mess with what you have. So with that hurt inside to find out that there's another woman, it makes you want to pound their fist because you're hurt now. It's like he betrayed everything inside of you. Then you start to question, did he love me? If he loved me, why could he do that? But he's going to get his share of the pounding. But the other woman, she just gets it because in your eyes, she is just the devil itself messing up your marriage. I'm not going to say happy home because it might not be a happy home, but she crossed that line and step into your marriage, and now your marriage is no longer sacred. The security seemed like it went out the door. Even if he might have made a mistake one time, it's just that hurt inside, and you just want to call her all the names in the world. I mean, whew, I can't even say them on TV. So in that split moment where you went from being the queen, now it's like, did I mean anything to him? How could he just cheat on me like that with another woman? And then the anger starts with the other woman, and all the words just come out. And that's where it comes from. It might not be that person's character, but it's just because the hurt. And then every day you wake up, you think about it, you want to do some more work. So you're using social media, and you're going to let the whole world know that she's a Jezebel. She did the worst thing possible. And it's all about hurting her, because you're hurt people hurt others.
Do you
So
think
that's
it
what
makes a
that is.
difference? Because we talk about husband and wife, but do you think that would make a difference if some of the women tell themselves, and sisters, we're talking to some of you out there, because I'm sure some of you listening, well, he's not married. There's no ring on his finger. He's fair game. That's just a girlfriend. Does that make a difference?
I don't think it makes a difference. I really don't think whether you're married or it's a girlfriend, it makes a difference. Because most of the time, not all the time, most of the times where a woman get in a relationship and she's in that relationship for a period of time, that person becomes very dear to them, and that person's in their heart. And that man might be fulfilling that need that she has, and the relationship was working. So I don't think that it makes a difference whether you're married or not. Feelings is feelings. The going forward into marriage makes it more sacred, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But whether you're married or not, we women sometimes we're very territorial. Yeah, we want our man for ourselves, and we don't want anybody sharing anything. And some women, they don't mind doing that, but there's some women that really just does not want to share partners in life.
Wow. Well, you know what's interesting, you bring up an interesting point, because as we talk about the sisters that maybe had a cush situation where this man was paying their bills and taking care of everything, and then COVID came along and maybe the man wasn't working. So it makes you wonder how many of those people that got evicted was simply because the sugar daddy wasn't bringing in any sugar.
Disappeared. Yeah.
Okay, now we talk about a lot of things that depress people. We know that finances depress people, and some people eat when they're depressed, but some people spend. You really touched on something. Talk about, and I want to talk about sisters, because that's what we're talking about today. Mm-hmm. Why do we get into these destructive spending habits?
As women, our emotions tend to make us make the worst decisions ever, because we just emotional beings, and sometimes with our emotions, we're in a bad mood, we're just not feeling good. Shopping just does the trick. That you woke this morning, everything is just not going right. I'm going to go shopping. So you buy a pocketbook, and then you start to feel good. I mean, and then afterwards, the next thing you realize, oh, I just spent the bill money.
Yeah, you get that charge card
bill, you know? Yeah. And even before that, it's like, man, did I just do that? Because you just want to feel good in that moment there, where you're feeling like the world is caving in on you. Your emotions are the whack. Yeah. And depending on the age group that you're in, your age, you just feel like the world is coming to an end. So, you know, you want to feel better. So you go shopping, and you don't have the money to spend, but you still go shopping because it makes you feel better. So when you come home, you just tell yourself, man, I feel so good. I'm so glad I went shopping. Then reality kick in. Or you have those things where it's a competition. You have this pocketbook, I have to have it. You driving a new car, I need to have a new car. You cannot afford it. You don't know what that person did to get what they have, but you just want to stay in the competition. You just want to fit in. You have that look that say, you have that look that say, I got it like that. You know, I got it like that, so I can afford to splurge. And then when reality kick in, you realize, oh, I don't have it like that. But you're not going to say to anybody, you're going to do whatever it is you think. You're going to keep going shopping even when you can't go shopping. Next thing you know, you have 20 credit cards and they all maxed out, because it's a thing where you have to fit in. And depending on the age bracket, I'm telling you, it can be very, very dangerous. Early 20s, early 30s, very dangerous when you're trying to fit in with your peers. and you're just going shopping because you know what, I gotta fit in. It's a competition thing. Whatever you got, I gotta have it too.
And if that means even for some of our women, I know that I went to school with some individuals that always were just so well dressed. And I mean, you had to admire them because they had the latest everything. And it wasn't until we got older that we knew that one of their family members was a professional booster. So, so the family members out there stealing all this stuff and all these clothes are hot.
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
you have to say again, you don't know where people's stuff is coming from. And if you have to resort to wearing stolen things or encouraging other people to do things just so you can floss, that's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
Yes,
so I think we got to have a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to compete with that other woman who doesn't even know you exist, who doesn't even know you exist.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hit you with an article that I found in Forbes. It was written by Dr. Sean Andrews. And he said that as long as women perceive themselves as equal, the friendship and the relationship survives. But the moment one of the women starts to elevate, meaning that power differential starts.
Yeah.
So maybe one gets a promotion, maybe one, lost weight, looking good. When that friend starts to perceive that we're not on the same level, problems are going to start in that relationship. Now, why does that happen?
Oh gosh, that the first thing comes to my mind, that's a pure jealousy thing. It's a jealousy thing. And you see that a lot in the Black society. I don't know why we don't want each other to progress. It's like, how dare you move to that expensive neighborhood and not me? We all Black people, you need to stay down here. So all of a sudden you just think that you all that. And that's our mentality. We don't like to see each other progress. We don't know what they did, how they did to get there. Maybe that person showed up to work every day on time. Maybe they produced more work than her other co-workers. Maybe she volunteered for extra assignment. He or she, I'm sorry, volunteered for extra assignment. Maybe, it's so many different things. That person has a higher degree. It doesn't matter what it is the manager looks at that allowed them to get that promotion. But we just don't want to see other people progress. And so that jealousy kick in. Oh, she thinks she all that. Okay, this is what she do. Then the friendship breaks apart because now in your mind, and don't make that person become a supervisor and over you, because it makes it really weird right then. Because it was like both of your co-workers and all of a sudden you elevate. Now I have to answer to you. That really makes it horrible because I'm telling you, a fight might even break out because it's like, oh, so now all of a sudden you think you're supervisor. Did you sleep with the manager together? And that's as far as it goes. Sometimes they think that you do sexual favors to get up there, not thinking that you deserve that spot. They don't see how hard you work to do that.
You got up at 6 in the morning to go, to do the things that you had to do. They don't see that. And I think that's the problem. We don't see that it took hard work. We just get mad when we see that they got something.
Exactly.
How come they didn't earn it? How come it's just that they did the hard work, they did the heavy lifting that you weren't willing to do to get to the same place? It's really just that simple. And I'm sure, I wasn't a slave, but I'm sure there were some slaves that told on other slaves who tried to run away. We know that. We know that.
Oh,
happened.
yeah. And then
where they think they're going.
Then there's that other part of the jealousy factor where everybody have different talents, everybody have different personality. And because of the gifts that God gave you, you might be able to do something that other person wants to do, but that might not be their gift. So then they become jealous because in their eyes, you're doing what they want to do, but they don't have the courage and the knowledge and wisdom to do it themselves. So I'm just going to hate on her because I can't do what she's doing. She have all that energy, that knowledge to do it, and I can't do it. I'm just going to hate on her and talk bad about her, talk bad about him because I myself can't do it. And you see that a lot in society. They don't get up off the couch to go do it themselves, but don't let you get up off the couch to do it because then you become the bad person.
Well, I try to celebrate.
The hated one.
See, I think it's important that we celebrate other women because I feel like, or just other people in general, because I feel like if that one got out, I'm happy for them. If that one made it to the top, I'm happy for them. And it should motivate you. If you have been sitting on your tank and you didn't do anything, that should motivate you to think, you know what? it's not too late for me to be able to do some of
Mm-hmm.
these things. And so I
Yep.
think you're right. That's hurt us, I think, as a community, as sisters, because we're not pushing our other sisters
Yes.
to elevate ourselves. And to me, if your circle is about elevating, you're going to help each other. But you're right. Some of us, then when we get there, we don't try to pull anybody up either.
Yes. Yes. That is so true. We get there and we forget where we came from. And it's so easy to do that because then now you're moving a different circle of people and you have to keep up that image. And you don't want somebody who is not in that status to try to even be in your circle anymore. It's all about an image then. I'm this big, and that's how it is. Yeah. So they don't try to pull them up. We don't try to help each other at all. We just
Well,
try to knock each other down.
I'm going to tell you, sisters, if you have accomplished something, don't let anybody steal your joy and make you feel like you can't be happy and celebrate what you do. And if you're waiting on your girlfriends to celebrate you, sometimes that's just not going to happen. But you know what?
Yeah.
You can have a celebration yourself. If you
There
you
you
have to
go.
go out by
Yeah.
yourself and pat yourself on the back and tell yourself that you do a good job, you have to do that. Because if you wait on some of those so-called friends to
It
do
will
it,
never come.
never
And
come.
then next thing you know, you're getting angry and frustrated because you're depending on them to say, well done, good job. And you be like, what kind of friends do I have? No, just celebrate yourself.
No, you
Yeah.
got, yeah. And I think unfortunately that's one of the bad things about social media, because you could post something very positive about yourself and you'd be surprised your closest people won't comment. They saw it.
They don't
They
even
saw
like
it, but
it.
they're like, I'm not gonna say anything. And I think that speaks volumes about
Yes,
that individual. It really, really does.
I know. I know. I can relate to that. I'm telling you, I can relate to that. Oh, I can relate to that. But I just keep it going because I have to tell myself all the time, God is where my blessing is going to come from. God is the one that's going to open door. He's who I'm working for. I'm not working for these folks. So their opinion really don't matter. I just got to keep pushing. I got to keep pushing. Like I said, it's a negative society we're dealing with. We don't want to see each other rise to the top, and it's
Well,
just the way it is.
Dr. Taylor, you have uh, spent your life's work in counseling people and helping them. And you have a conference that's coming up on February the 5th. Can you talk to
Yes,
us about that conference and
yes, I am so
what people can hope
excited.
to get from that when they tune in?
Yes. First of all, let me say the Right Awakening is a platform designed to move the world with our expert abilities, with our experiences, to enhance their existences, to help them find the will of God and the purpose of God so that they could tap into their own potential. Now, that being said, one of the things on February 5th conference is going to be about daring to be bold. So we're gonna dare to be bold as women, dare to be bold as women of color, and dare to be bold. We started saying as immigrant, but then we realized when you say immigrant, people are thinking, people are not from the US, come here. So what we're gonna talk about is when you live outside what people consider the norm. Like when you have like a Black person moving into a white neighborhood, or a white person moving into a neighborhood where they make you feel, well, you don't belong here. So that's the we're gonna. I am so excited about it because I want to talk about the things that women go through, and that we can be anything we want to be. And it's so funny that you're doing this interview and it's more about women because the conference we're going to be talking about daring to be bold as women so that we could try to stick together more and help each other. Society loves to think women stick together. No, we don't.
No, we
We
don't.
do not stick together. So the conference is on February 5th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Daylight Saving Time. To attend the conference is $20 per person. And this go back to help. The funds on this one is going to go help a single woman's home. So I would like people to come and contribute. These will, in Antigua, they don't really call it like a homeless center for women. No, it's just a single woman's home where some of these women, they're battered. Some of them, they don't have any job. And that's what we're using the funds for, to help them to get on their feet. So if people could join in and contribute, that would help them tremendously. But like I said, I'm excited about that. Looking forward to it.
Dr. Taylor, I always give women the last word, and I think we've unpacked stepping stones, and the betrayal of sisterhood, and I think you touched on a lot of points when we as women we use that term sisters, and we speak very fondly about the organizations we're in and all this sisterhood, but when the rubber hits the road and we are not proud and we're not really celebrating the woman that's above us or the woman that we perceive that's ahead of us, that's a problem. Because to me, we're strengthening each other so that we can pull somebody up. And when you get pulled up, it's almost like you should have your hand down to pull the next person up.
Yes.
But that next person has to be willing to accept the hand as well and not be so mad at you. Because I'm telling you, sisters, if you're the next one to come up, you better watch who you're talking about. Because the very person you talking about may be that person that was supposed to help you. But if you're so nasty and cantankerous, they're like, I'm not pulling you up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the last word.
Thank you. And let me say right now, thank you so much for having me. I have fun with you as always. But what I would like to say to women out there, don't be afraid to help each other. Let's help each other, because then imagine if we all come together and try to lift each other, there'll be less domestic violence. There will be less women suffering abuse without saying anything. There will be less children out there growing up without mothers because their mothers got killed by the fathers. And then we could just form a community and just really help each other. Help that person tap into that strength that God gave them to excel. When you have someone who's motivating you, encouraging you, then the whole world just opens up to you and you feel like there's nothing that you can accomplish. Let us stop trying to get into situations that is not for us. Sleeping with someone's husband, that's not for you. Trying to be in a relationship when you know that person's not for you. Let's try to get past that and build our self-esteem. You are children of God. We are children of God. And we're so much more than just abused women. We are strong women. There's nothing that we can do if we don't put our mind to it. We just have to learn to help each other and push each other up. And when you get up there, put your hand back to help the person behind you. And I think if we start to do that, we will have a better society of women. And it doesn't matter the color, it doesn't matter the race, the creed, we will have a better society of women. Because when men know that women are really sticking together, then they know if your husband come to me and say, I'm going to go tell your wife, and and it will make it just so much different, because we have to respect each other. We have to first respect ourselves as women and respect other women as individuals. And I think that it will make a big difference.
Well, I think you made a good point too, when we talk about, a lot of the domestic violence women. You have to understand there are a lot of women in prison simply because of domestic violence issues. So there are parentless children simply because of foolishness, and then you want to go either beat some woman up, then you get assault, or you want to kill some woman because of assault. And then you end up in prison for the rest of your life because of some foolishness. So sisters, let's try to find just one person that you can say, if you're in the executive suite and you see some sister that's talented, give her a call and say, I'm going to try to mentor this person and pull them up. And it's the same. You don't even have to be in the C-suite to do that. You may see a new trainee coming in to work with you. I don't care if she got hair she can sit on. Everybody got hair they can sit on now. That don't mean it's there. But don't hate them because of that. Welcome them into the fold, and don't get all caught up on, I wouldn't wear my hair like that and stuff, because see, that's catty. That's petty. But we need to be able to support each other.
Yes, I agree. We should support each other. And congratulations once again on another win for Tab Talks. I am so proud of you. And remember, put your hand back to help me out.
Everybody hear that, Dr. Taylor? Challenge me.
Yes, put your hand back to help up the sister.
Thank you for coming on Tab Talks, Dr. Taylor.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure. I had so much fun.
And ladies, 70% of female executives feel as though they've been bullied by other women. If a woman feels she can't compete with a close friend professionally, she might resort to flirting with her friend's spouse as a way of feeling important or equal. Word to the wise. Side chicks are one of the major reasons a lot of men are still married.